I love Saquon Barkley. I think Saquon Barkley is already a great running back. I mean, this is what happens with elite running backs. They hit the ground running, so to speak. And the reason I would say pass on Sam Darnold is he seemed to me to be great 2 years ago in college, and then last year regressed a bit. So it didn't seem to me like a slam dunk. He's going to hit the ground running. Sam Darnold seemed to me to be a guy who might be a franchise quarterback one day, but there were question marks, and it might take a couple of years. It may take a little while. It didn't seem to me to be the kind of guy like Baker Mayfield where right away he's going to energize the team and hit the ground running. And then last night, at the age of 21, he became the youngest player in the history of the NFL to start under center week 1, threw a pick 6 on his first play, and then picked himself up, dusted himself off, and won the game with his arm and his legs and his leadership. The question was coming into the game, is Sam Darnold a franchise quarterback? And the answer is, at 21 years old, if he can play like that, yeah, you don't know for sure, but yes, it seems to me he is. And you can't pass on a 21-year-old legit franchise quarterback who can do everything, who has size, arm, leadership abilities, a good attitude, legs, the whole thing. You don't pass on that for the running back, no matter who the running back is. So my thoughts on Sam Darnold are now different than they were. And as a result, the Giants should have taken the franchise quarterback who's 16 years younger than their guy and is way cheaper for the foreseeable future.
Well, first of all, a couple of things. Number one, I appreciate you changing your pick after week 1. It's so emotional, you and Will. Y'all are just unbelievable. But let me say this to y'all. It's an utterly ridiculous position to take because of who they were playing against. As far as I'm concerned, we haven't seen the Jets yet. We haven't seen them. If you're making your selection, at least have the decency to point out how they ain't playing an NFL team yet. Because I'm here to tell y'all right now, we're going to find out that the Lions just ain't that damn talented. What we saw last night on Monday Night Football was so awful.
They're tipping plays.
So awful. I'm like, we ain't find out anything about these Jets yet. Saquon Barkley was only averaging 2.3 yards a carry before he skipped for a 68-yard touchdown. Finished game. But what is that? That one play, that game-breaking ability was why you drafted him. And there's 2 reasons. And more so, this is not really about Will because he has his opinion, which really means very little to me. Even when you're right on a rare occasion, it still means very little to me. You two, it's a different ball game.
What did I say?
I'm getting ready to go there. When it comes to the New York Giants, the shame that both of you should feel. Y'all raved about Eli Manning, and then suddenly after one game, it's like, oh my goodness, buyer's remorse.
I didn't say that. Only Max said that. I'm happy with Saquon.
Okay, but you feel it.
Our O-line is the issue.
Let me say, stop it. Here's the deal. We all know the O-line is always the issue with the Giants. But here's the deal.
He's so smart about football.
The New York Jets schedule, before I go to you, Will, New York Jets schedule, need I remind y'all, not only do they have New England twice on the schedule, they also have the Jacksonville Jaguars on their schedule on the road. They have the Minnesota Vikings on their schedule, the Denver Broncos on their schedule, the Chicago Bears defense on their schedule, the Tennessee Titans on their schedule, the Green Bay Packers on their schedule. Talk to me when we see Sam Darnold against those dudes, please. Calm down.
21 years old.
What is Saquon Barkley, 31?
Yeah, but one's a quarterback.
All right, and you knew that when you said they should have taken Saquon Barkley.
I did not know Sam Darnold, Will, would already be this.
Did you know about Barkley? Go ahead, Will. Go ahead, Will.
This isn't even TV. This isn't for effect. This might be my favorite day on First Take. This is First Take, right? This is First Take. Yeah. This is the guy over here who's dug in on a 2-year take that Tom Brady's going over a cliff and in 1 week flipped on Sam. I love it. I have newfound respect for you, Max. No, I'm in because you see it. We're there. You're stepping out of the store. You're halfway out the store with your Saquon Barkley bag, and you're like, I should have bought the Sam Darnold thing.
Not halfway out, Will. I took the Saquon Barkley bag home. I unpacked it. I was happy with it. And then I saw this.
Oh, yes. Come on.
And by the way, I speak Stephen A.
Detroit.
For what it's worth, I speak Stephen A. When he was insulting me a moment ago, because I'm familiar now, I've been around for a little while. When he was insulting me, he was actually loving on me because he was recognizing in that moment that I've been consistent. Sam Darnold over Saquon Barkley. He just dresses it up in insults. I speak Stephen A. It's okay. Let me explain you something. Okay, he's really good. He's really good. Yep. He had 116 quarterback rating. And you're right, Stephen A., it's 1 week. But it wasn't like he was dinking and dunking, playing safe. We know that. He threw that pick right away, which, by the way, I heard you earlier, Max. I love it. I love the pick six. I love it. Picked himself right up, back out on the field, and engineered an NFL team to a massive win. And you know what? He threw the ball downfield with accuracy, with anticipation, 9 yards per completion. Do you know who he looked like? Do you know who he reminds me of a little bit? And I'm not the first to say this. He looks like Tony Romo. You might have yourself a Tony Romo in New York.
Will, may I interject with a question to you?
Wonderful.
May I interject with a question to you?
Yes, please.
21, he's probably going to be better
What
than
did you think? What did you think?
This is the greatest day.
About a former coordinator of the New England Patriots coaching this Detroit Lions team last night based on how they looked. What did you think of that?
I thought they looked awful. And I heard your point. I watched First Take. I heard your point about Belichick disciples. Right now, if you're picking between Andy Reid coaching tree or Bill Belichick coaching tree, it's a no-brainer. You go with the Andy Reid coaching tree. Give me Doug Peterson. Give me Matt Nagy. Give me anybody Andy Reid's coached up. But can I say this, Stephen A., just for consistency's purposes, if you're going to be slow to judge Sam Darnold in 1 week, you might be slow to judge the Detroit Lions in 1 week. I mean, I'll tell you this, I'm going to be slow to judge John Gruden. I saw things last night from the Raiders that I thought looked really, really good. They play tough, man. They hit. They are out there. That was on David Carr. That wasn't on John Gruden. So I'm going to give Matt Patricia more than 1 week before saying that he absolutely can't coach and Belichick.
Well, I'm not saying he can't coach.
Can I just get back to Darnold, Saquon for a second?
I'm not saying, I want to be clear about this. I am not questioning the football acumen or the coaching ability of Matt Patricia, other than saying last night was one of the most god-awful performances from a head coach.
Let's get back to Darnold over Saquon, though. You do realize that Saquon was the first rookie in franchise history to rush for 100 yards in an opener against the Jags.
Saquon
Barkley. How good that defense is?
Saquon Barkley, even when he was running between the tackles and he wasn't getting a lot of yards, that's basically because the Giants are a terrible run-blocking team, Eric Flowers. But Barkley was okay still. He was still moving the chains a little.
The run blocking, the pass protection, but the run blocking, I don't know about that.
Right.